last thing real quickly, why was he released? Why was Paul Grice brought in and released and then grabbed again after the other four? It's a big mystery.
Yeah, it's a very, very good question, and we don't know the answer. Again, he was not brought in. He didn't go in on his own the first time. He was brought in almost like he was going to be arrested. They did the interviews.
You know, when you see this group, here you now have all 5 of them together in this little rogues gallery, this little lineup you see on the screen. Tiffany Adams, Tadbert Cullum, Paul Earl Twombly, Cora Twombly, and Paul Grice. And the catalyst, the person behind this whole thing, is Tiffany Adams on the left, the grandmother. And then you question why Tadbert Cullum, of course, is of what we learned her significant other, her boyfriend. But what made the other 4, besides Tiffany, commit this horrific crime? And that is sort of our whole dissertation for this show is, was it this organization, this God's misfits? Is that what gave them loyalty to each other and to do this almost military planning of a murder that took place over several weeks, several months, and then to execute this plan, obviously a premeditated plan? Something is not right. Something is rotten in Denmark, as they say. And I think that what we may see, and I'm now more and more convinced of it, we may see more arrests in this, Mike.
Yeah, Billy, you know, when you see this horrific killing of 2 beautiful young ladies, and it looks like they may have been beaten to death, and you're looking at, you know, who's got the emotional interest in doing this sort of thing, and to get the Twombleys and Grice involved, maybe, and I said a little bit about this earlier, maybe they did, you know, Grice and the Twombleys did, Tiffany and her boyfriend, maybe they were returning a favor for something that maybe Tiffany had done for someone that Grice or the Twombleys did not want around maybe 6 months ago or a year ago. Because to be talked into, or maybe your arm wasn't twisted, but being, maybe there was no pressure, but actually just engaging in this planning over the course of a while, you know, you'd got to think that Grice and the Twombleys had a lot of time to think about what they were doing and whether or not they want to get involved in this, get involved in Tiffany's affairs, in Tiffany's, you know, family. So I'm thinking there may be something else out there that may have been done in the past. This is payback because maybe they were helped out before. And remember, as a group, you know, there's group think. If they have gotten, and I don't know if they did, but if they have gotten away with something before as a group, and now it's time to do another kind of criminal act, in this case, murder, and they got away with the first, if that was the case, they're more likely to say, okay, we got away with it once. Now we're going to do something else as a group. Group think sets in, you know, and they may feel as sovereign citizens that they may have the ability to thwart law enforcement. You know, that's a very rural area out there. I'm sure the sheriff's office is probably understaffed, and I'm sure there's not a lot of investigators, and not a big budget, and not a lot of personnel. So I'm thinking that this may not be the first homicide that this group may have engaged in, and therefore, having maybe perhaps successfully done other criminal activity in the past, a feeling of maybe invincibility a little bit. And so therefore, it's time now to kill someone else. It may sound weird, but I'm kind of like leaning that way, thinking about the group dynamics.
Mike, I think you're right. Let me go to the chat. Malibu Surfer. Grice looked like he had such a nice family. You're right. He had 3 kids. What's he thinking of? What's he thinking of? Now his kids don't have a father because he's going to prison for the rest of his life, or he could get the death penalty. Exactly. What the hell was he thinking about? Annie Oakley from the chat, 777. Tiffany probably paid them all off. People were scared of her. She was a powerful woman who was used to getting her way. Wow. Mother, just for fun, take 5. What is anti-American in the 21st century? There's lots of ways you can be anti-American. One of them is to be a sovereign citizen and not follow the laws and act as if you're above the law or the law doesn't apply to you. Miss Chris, so awful how these folks just felt they could take her life away, both of their lives. You know, Miss Chris, not only did they take the lives of these 2 women, they basically took their own lives because their lives are over now as they knew it. You know, their lives either what they have to look forward to is either the death penalty or life in prison without parole. That's what they have to look forward to. So, in doing this, I don't know if they thought they were going to get away with it. I guess everyone that commits a murder must think they're going to get away with it. There's no other explanation from it. You know, why would they do it unless they thought they could get away with it? The ugly truckling influenced them to do it by accusing the mother of child abuse in the manner. So everybody wanted to play heroes at police off the cuff. Yeah, well, you know, the ugly trucking, that's a possibility. I hadn't thought of that. But that allegation can just be an allegation without any fact. We don't know. Casaria, I think they're all a bunch of meth addicts. Meth makes people arrogant, way overconfident, and kills their conscience. Drugs makes you lose your soul, that's for sure.